Hey, what is up guys? Really coming at you with a new epic Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today will be the first in a new series that we're going to be doing every so often, which is a top 5 video series where we'll be analyzing the top 5 cards of a specific theme related to a specific archetype or so in each video. Today guys, I'm going to start off with an archetype we haven't featured on the channel for a while, but it does relate to one of the most featured themes on the channel, which is the Harpy Ladies. So today we're going to take a look at My Valentine's secondary archetype, which is the Amazoness monsters, and in particular we're going to be ranking the top 5 best Amazoness monsters. Now for this list, of course, we will be taking a look at the monsters based on how they work with their specific archetype's main theme, which of course for Amazoness is the battle phase. So the monsters we're going to take a look at really do gimmicky things involving battle, as well as that, rather than doing overall gimmicky effects throughout the whole game. In particular, these monsters do excel in helping build the strategy up for the monsters for the archetype, as well as protecting and giving additional effects in the battle phase. So without any further ado guys, remember to like and subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below with your favorite Amazoness monster, and without any further ado, let's jump in to the number 5. Starting off at number 5, guys, we have Amazoness Pet Liger. Pet Liger is a level 7 Earth Beast fusion with 2500 attack and 2400 defense. His materials require 1 Amazoness Tiger and any other Amazoness monster, so not particularly difficult to fusion summon. His first effect reads: once per battle, if he attacks during damage calculation, you can make him gain 500 attack, during that damage calculation only. If an Amazoness monster attacks an opponent's monster, after damage calc, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, it loses 800 attack. Monsters your opponents control cannot attack Amazoness monsters except this one. A decent monster to run in your deck, although Link format does make him kind of more irrelevant, as Amazoness Empress is the more preferable fusion monster that you want to make. However, his effects do really well with the theme of a battle phase focused deck. For starters, his ability to give himself an extra 500 attack makes him a 3k beat stick. As well as that, if you've got your trap Amazoness Onslaught, he's the 3k beat stick that swings for 3000 and can banish opponent's monster at the end of the damage step. What makes his damage step lowering attack point lowering really powerful in the damage step is if you don't have something that protects your Amazoness monsters from battle, you can actually lower their attack so that when your weaker Amazoness monster attacks into your opponent's monster, then potentially your Amazoness monster is not going to be destroyed. His protection effect is something he shares with Amazoness Tiger, meaning that if you do have him and Amazoness Tiger out on the field, your opponent can't actually attack you, which again is another great way of doing some gimmicks off in the battle phase. Fortunately, unlike Amazoness Tiger, Amazoness Pet Liger does not have the clause that you can only control 1. So theoretically, if you were able to get 2 out on the field, then it's a lot easier, be a lot more interesting to do that. And of course, as none of his effects do say hard once per turn, if you do have 2 of them out on the field, you can lower your opponent's monsters by 1200 with both effects of the attack lowering of the Amazoness Pet Liger. I do realize that he's a pretty cool card. He's a little bit harder to go into, as Amazoness Empress is a lot better, but overall he's still a pretty good card, and that's why he takes the number 5 slot. Coming in at number 4, guys, we have Amazoness Swordswoman. Swordswoman is a level 4 Earth Warrior with 1500 attack and 1600 defense. She's one of the oldest monsters in the archetype and is one of the signature monsters used by My Valentine in the Battle City arc. Her ability reads: your opponent takes any battle damage you would take from battles involving this card instead. A pretty interesting effect, something that was never really seen as much around that time, and she was actually a pretty good card for level 4 spams back in the day. Her ability is actually really powerful with the archetype, as a lot of the archetype was actually based around her ability that, it's a battle phase archetype. What makes her really good is that you can use her to swing into a really high attack point opponent's monster and have them take all the damage. Combo this off with your trap, Amazoness Onslaught, and not only will your opponent take all the damage, they'll also lose their monster at the end of the damage step. As well as that, there are lots of different ways of spells and traps that protect Amazoness Swordswoman from being destroyed by battles, such as Amazoness Heirloom, and of course if you have Amazoness Queen or Empress out on the field as well. As well as that, they also have the spell Amazoness Call, which can be banished to have Swordswoman attack multiple times, and then of course being able to deal damage and banish. She's really good in the archetype as a 3-of, because if you really need to get rid of problematic monsters and you have Onslaught out, you can just swing her in. She can't be destroyed by battle, even if she is. She's going to deal your opponent damage, and you're going to get rid of the monster anyway. There's a lot of plus that can be used off Amazoness Swordswoman, and she's a nice normal summon and basically threatens the opponent not to attack into her because they're going to take some damage. And that's why she takes the number 4 slot. Coming in at number 3, guys, we have Amazoness Tiger. Amazoness Tiger is a level 4 Earth Beast with 1100 attack and 1500 defense. His first effect reads: you can only control 1 Amazoness Tiger. He gains 400 attack for each Amazoness monster you control, including himself. Your opponent cannot attack any other face-up Amazoness monsters except for this one. So obviously you're noticing a trend that this guy and his fusion equivalent, Amazoness Pet Liger, do have the abilities that your opponent cannot attack other Amazoness monsters apart from this one. So obviously, if you have them both out, your opponent can't attack you. A level 4 monster that gains an extra 400 attack for every monster that shares that's in the archetype on the field is actually pretty powerful, including especially the fact that it includes himself. So if you're able to get at least 3 other Amazoness monsters out on the field, he's going to be sitting at a cool 2,300 attack. Plus, if you add your field spell, it puts him at 2,500. He becomes a pretty big beatstick that your opponent has to attack into, as well as that comboing off with the trap, Amazoness Onslaught, or the various protection cards you have, make him pretty frustrating for your opponent to deal with. Especially if you've got him face up on the field and your opponent tries to attack, go ahead and flip Onslaught, they have to attack him, and assuming whether or not he's going to get destroyed, your opponent's going to lose their monster anyway. Also, being a level 4 monster makes him pretty easy to summon. He's only really worth running in the deck at 2 copies, as he is only able to have one out on the field. He does have an equivalent in a baby form, which also counts as him on the field, and can get a little bit bricky, because you technically can't have them both out on the field at the same time. He's still definitely a very much run card in the deck, as he's used to fuse into Amazoness Pet Liger, and he has a pretty decent effect of his own, and that's why he takes the number 3 slot. Just missing out on the number 1 slot, coming in at number 2, is the Amazoness other fusion monster, Amazoness Empress. She's a level 8 Earth Warrior fusion with 2,800 attack and 2,400 defense. Her materials require Amazoness Queen and 1 other Amazoness monster. Again, not super difficult to get out on the field, and to an extent is actually a little bit easier to get out than Amazoness Pet Liger. Her first effect read, other Amazoness monsters that you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. This includes your spells and traps as well, which is really nice protection for the archetype as a whole. If your Amazoness monster attacks an opponent's defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Again, a nice effect, a nice battle phase effect that you would expect a boss monster of the archetype to give. She gives it to everything, as well as the nice protection, makes her pretty powerful. But that's not all, she has other effects. If this face-up fusion summon card is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while its owner controls it, you can special summon 1 Amazoness Queen from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So not only does she give protection, not only does she give piercing, she also floats. And what's really cool about her is if she leaves the field due to a card effect. So if your opponent actually bounces her, her effect triggers as well. And she can summon out any Amazoness Queen from your hand, deck, or grave, and there's obviously going to be 2 targets for that in your deck, in the overall archetype. As well as that, she can be special summoned from the graveyard, much like Amazoness Pet Liger, so meaning the archetypal Call of the Hornet, Amazoness Willpower, can bring her back, as well as Monster Reborn. It's not like a card your opponent gets rid of and then it's impossible to summon another one. You can just go bring her back. She does lose the floating effect if she is brought back, however she does have a nice floating combination with their field spell, Amazoness Village, if she's destroyed by battle. She'll float into anything you want from the arc. She can float into Amazoness Queen, and then of course your field spell can float into any other monster you want, as she is the highest level monster in the archetype. A great boss monster for the archetype, something you definitely want to go ahead and make, because she does protect your Amazoness Onslaught from being destroyed. Definitely worth running in the deck at 2 to 3 copies. You're probably only going to make 2 per game, but you need 3 just in case. Considering how good she is, that's why she's going to go ahead and take the number 2 slot on our list. Finally, guys, coming in at the number 1 slot, we have Amazoness Princess. She's a level 4 Earth Warrior with 1,200 attack and 900 defense. How could the top card in the Amazoness archetype be anything else but Amazoness Princess? She has a ton of special abilities that basically make the deck work. Without her and Amazoness Onslaught and Amazoness Call, the deck wouldn't be anything like it was today. Obviously, Amazoness Princess, Onslaught, and Call came in the Duels pack, Legendary Duels number 1, so obviously you expect her to do a lot of awesome things. Starting off, her first effect is that she's treated as Amazoness Queen while she's on the field or in the graveyard, meaning that she can be used to fusion summon Amazoness Empress if she's on the field, and she can be brought back from the graveyard if Amazoness Empress leaves the field, which is really good. Her second effect is if she is normal or special summoned, you can add any Amazoness spell or trap from your deck to your hand as a hard once per turn. Ability to get any spell or trap you want from your deck is insane, especially since the archetype does have a spell card that can search any card in the archetype. So lots of really cool ways to abuse this effect, and absolutely insane for a Stratos for the deck. But that's not all. Her next effect is when she declares an attack, you can send 1 other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon 1 Amazoness monster from your deck in defense position except herself. Again, another insane ability to help cheat their monsters out on the field. A battle phase archetype that used to be quite slow now becomes quite fast due to the ability for her to turbo out monsters such as Amazoness Queen straight from the deck. Heck, you can even bring out Amazoness Tiger to force your opponent to attack into it. The fact that she can get rid of cards on the field or bricky cards in your hand is also really powerful. Without a doubt, she is the best monster in the archetype, and the archetype would be absolutely nowhere without her. A must run in your deck at 3 copies, and that's why she takes the #1 slot on our list. But anyway, guys, that is it for my list. What did you think about my list? Do you agree? Let me know in the comments below, along with your favorite Amazoness monster. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you for my next video.